2007.
Andrew Williams.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I take a call on behalf of New Zealand First in relation to Part 2 of the Commerce Commission International Cooperation and Fees Bill 2008. And it is that 2008 that does somewhat concern us also, Mr Chair, in that this piece of legislation, this bill, was first put forward on the 9th of September 2008 by the Honourable Leanne Dalzell when there was still a Labour government. And it is somewhat concerning that it was then brought to this House for the first reading on the 25th of May 2010 by the Honourable Simon Power, and we are now the 31st of July 2012. And this bill, I won't go into the part one of it, but which is basically about greater cooperation between New Zealand and particularly Australia and the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission to ensure that things are properly investigated between the two commissions and to stamp out any improprieties in terms of commerce, particularly between Australia and New Zealand. It is somewhat disappointing that this has taken the best part of 3 or 4 years to go through to this point. And it does reflect poorly on the legislative process that in that period of time, who knows what sorts of things could have occurred which otherwise might have been picked up had this bill been through by now. I'm pleased that the Minister Foss has now moved this on, and being a good Hawke's Bay man like myself, we do pick up the ball and run with it like a good magpie rugby player. And I'm pleased that this bill has been picked up by the Minister and is now being pushed through. In terms of Part 2, and in relation to simply some amendments to the Commerce Act 1986, these are understandable, just in terms of, as the Minister said, in terms of just determining any remission of fees and any reductions in fees, and that's understandable. So in terms of that, Mr Chair, New Zealand First certainly is in support of this. This is again a good initiative to clamp down on some situations under the Commerce Act and under the Commerce Commission being able to investigate, and will allow greater transparency and ensure that there can be proper investigations and also charges made to overseas agencies requiring information of our Commerce Commission and vice versa. And so this is a good piece of legislation. As we have said in the past, New Zealand First will support government legislation that is to the benefit of New Zealand, and which is good legislation. We believe this is. It was started by the former Labour government, carried on through by the national government, but in terms of this, New Zealand First does support it, and the sooner that this is passed by the House, the better. Thank you, Mr Chair.
Claire Curran.
Thanks, Mr Chair. I'm pleased to take a call